Hello and welcome to the channel where we talk about all things Weiss Sports and chill with friends. My name is Liam and today we're going to the academy. Now, if you are new to the channel here, please consider hitting that subscribe button and hit that notification bell to be informed of when I next upload videos. As well as that, please check out my other social medias on Discord and on Twitch. Links are in the description below. Now, as we mentioned in last video, we are doing 2 videos a week now. Every Tuesday will be our Weiss Chill Academy, and Friday will be something else related to Weiss Sports. So if you are wanting to see this content and you enjoy this sort of content, please hit that like button, as well as making sure you subscribe to the channel. But let's jump straight in. Now today we're going to move on to our second part of our Weiss Slang series. By that I mean it is words that are used within the Weiss Sports community to basically shorten certain effects. Now I must put a disclaimer in here saying that during official events I would strongly recommend that you avoid using slang as much as possible and actually use the full effects to make sure that they are properly communicated to your opponent and that you don't get caught out by a judge or anything like that. So whilst these are great for casual play and things like that, during official tournament play, I would strongly recommend steering clear of these just to make sure that your effects are fully understood and you do not get penalised for miscommunication. Now on today's Weiss Slang video, we're going to be covering level 1 climax combos. I've got 5 effects that I'm going to be going through. If you think there's any level 1 combos that I've specifically missed or something that I've just forgotten about, let me know in the comments below and I will potentially add it to one of my future Weiss Slang videos. Again, this is all about community feedback, community effort, community support to make sure we get as much out there as possible to help educate our community. So if I have forgotten anything, please let me know in the comments below. But let's go to class. So the first level 1 climax combo effect that we're going to cover today is Shimakaze. And Shimakaze's effect is simply on reverse with the climax in play, you get to search or salvage for a traded character. So the first card that we saw with that sort of effect was Shimakaze from Kantai Collection or Kanko. And at the same time, this is still used today. You've got the Ichika from Project Sekai, you've got Kaide from Rascal Does Not Dream and Bunny Senpai, just as like the pure Shimakaze effect. But this has recently evolved where rather than the character itself having on reverse search or salvage, it tends to be, we've seen it somewhere, it's on play of climax or on attack, choose one of your characters to gain on reverse search or salvage. For example, Chia in Gotchiusa, you've got Korone in Hololive, and you've also got Yuri in Assault Lily. All of those are on play of climax or on attack, choose one of your characters and give it the effect of on reverse search or salvage. So that's where the evolution of Shimakaze has gone. But we still see those pure Shimakazes being printed today. For example, Saikano actually got a Shimakaze in its first ever reveals, and that's the latest set to sort of come to Weiss Sports very soon. So I don't see the Shimakaze effect going anywhere. Do I think it's underrated in today's meta? Yes, because you've got to worry about standby and big body boards, and getting over those is very difficult. But does it still see play? Yes, absolutely. And I don't think there's anything wrong with Shimakaze, maybe just a little outdated. And talking about on reverse effects, we're going to go to our second effect, the Minami. The Minami is on reverse with the climax. You can look up to the top 4 cards of your deck, choose a trait character amongst those, add it to hand, and the rest of the cards that you looked at, you send to the waiting room. And it usually also gives about some power, usually about 2,000 power to a character until the end of turn. Can be itself, can be something else as well. And this refers to Minami from the Idolmaster Cinderella Girl set. From set 1, that's where the name sort of gets its phrase from. And it's also still quite a common effect, maybe not as common as Maguro anymore, just because I feel that Maguro is kind of a better Minami. Yes, you get a power pump from Minami, which is great, but in today's meta, on attack effects tend to do better than on reverse effects. But you heard me say Maguro, and that's going to be our next effect, so stick around to hear that one. And there are a lot of cards that still use the Minami effect. For example, Hatsune Miku from the Project Sekai trial decks. That's still a Minami combo. You've got the Toru from the Dragon Maid trial deck. But nowadays it tends to be a trial deck effect rather than a booster effect. As I said, it's mostly overshadowed by the Maguro, which we're going to cover next. And yeah, again, I think because it's difficult nowadays to reverse characters, I believe the Maguro is better, but let's go into that now to explain why. So Maguro is on attack, look at up to top 4 cards of your deck, choose a trait character amongst those, add it to hand, discard the rest. No power pump like the Minami, but it's no longer an on reverse requirement. So the first Maguro we saw, and where the effect name is coined from, is the Puyo Puyo Maguro, called Maguro, surprisingly. And the Maguro effect is still pretty common in today's game. For example, just one example is the Yu-Gi-Oh! From the Sword Art Online Alicization Trial deck. And to be honest, this effect hasn't evolved that much. There is an example of an evolution in the IMA from Hololive, which is an on attack, look at up to top 4, add a level 1 or higher card amongst those. Basically combining the Fuka effect, which we mentioned in episode 1, with the Maguro. So it's a bit unique in that sense. Rather than getting a trait character, you get a level 1 higher card, meaning that your event's alive, which is actually quite key in Hololive, for example, where you've got the Gamers event, you've got the 2 free event as well, the counter. So yeah, it's quite nice to see that in Hololive, for example, and there are other cards and other sets that would actually benefit from this massively. But yeah, I think, you know, Maguro is kind of set as what it is. It's always top 4 on attack, add a character usually, apart from the occasional bits and bobs. There are other cards as well that evolve in terms of top 3 add a card, but I wouldn't class that as a Maguro because I think the first thing of that was Han Solo from the Star Wars series. But that's another level 1 combo to cover for another day. Effect number 4, we have got the cigarettes combo, or what I like to call Shizu, because cigarettes is an event and we are not using events for level 1 climax combos. I personally use Shizu due to its English relevance. So this effect is on attack with the climax combo. You can mill the top 2 cards of your deck, and then you may salvage up to a level X, where X is equal to the level of the milled cards revealed from the effect of this. And like I mentioned, it's actually like the Shizu that I use for this slang is related to that time I was reincarnated as a slime, Shizu level 1 combo on the pants. And yeah, so people refer to it as cigarettes from Fate Apocrypha, this event here, which again, same sort of thing, on player event, top 2, salvage up to level X. But I would say that people tend to use Shizu for this, or I use Shizu for this, because of its English relevance, despite the fact that it isn't actually the first of its kind. Now, the first of its kind was actually Hibiki from Idolmaster Million Live here. And some people do call it Hibiki because, again, that was the first one that sort of came out, and it was, you know, the first time where that effect became relevant. But personally, I use Shizu because I'm more of an English format player, but the Japanese format players tend to use Hibiki. So there's another word for you to throw into your slang mix. And 2 examples of this card is the Yotsuba from Hanayome, which is quintessential quintuplets, and also the Elizabeth from 7 Deadly Sins. Those are both cigarette / Shizu / Hibiki combos. So there's 2 examples there that I know of off the top of my head, but there are plenty more clones as well that use this effect. Now the final effect that we're going to talk about, effect number 5, is going to be the Oboro. And this effect is coined to where either on attack with the climax or when the climax is played, the character in question gains the effect of when this card is front attacked, you may return it to your hand. Now the name Oboro comes from the Unisan Oboro level 1 combo on blue, and again that's where the effect sort of originated from. And even though there are English cards that have very similar effects, if not exactly the exact same effect, such as the Megamin from the movie set, it's still mainly thought that Oboro is the coined phrase used. It is sometimes used with the Eren from Attack on Titan, even though it is on reverse. Some people use the whole concept of when a character is front attack, return to hand. They use that effect as the Oboro, same with Astolfo from Fate Apocrypha. But usually, I'd say 9 times out of 10, when people use Oboro, it is usually an on attack or on play of climax effect, which also links, for example, to the Kato from Saikano. And again, this is why I said at the very beginning of this video, when you are playing an official tournament, make sure you actually use the full effect. Make sure that you clearly communicate exactly what the effect is of the card in play or the card in question, so that there is no miscommunication with your opponent. Because like Weiss Slang has certain times where people know it for different things or specific ways, and for example Ricky, like we mentioned in the first episode, is quite a big one where a lot of people don't like the word Ricky because it's so vague. It's so important that in official tournaments you make sure you fully clarify the effects to your opponent to make sure that you do not get punished, and also to ensure fair play during the game. But that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something from today's Weiss Slang series. Next week I'm going to not do Weiss Slang, I'm going to release a different Weiss Academy video. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell to make sure that you are informed of when we upload that video. And as well as that, we'll be still uploading our Friday content, where this week I'm going to be doing a deck profile on something that I made on stream, which I absolutely love. So make sure you check that out when it comes out this week. But again, as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you check out the description for my social links on Twitch and on Discord. Again, links are in the description below. And please let me know down below in the comments, what Weiss Slang do you think I should cover in the next video? I've got a list loads at the moment, and I'm working through that list. But if there's something you think that needs to be covered sooner rather than later, let me know in the comments below, and I would love to add it to my next video. But like we've already said, thank you so much for joining this video. Class is dismissed, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye!